So here we are for episode 4,
hmm
and I feel like this is going to be a very different episode than we've had in the past.
More laid back.
Yeah. Well, we're inside,
That's true.
wanting to try something different.
hmm
But I wanted to start by asking you what your intention is for this particular episode.
My intention is to help people who are like me, people who are hermits, people who are empaths, people who are highly sensitive individuals, people who are spiritual and feel alienated from society. They feel like they don't quite belong. That's me. So I really wanted to do a video today for people who can connect to me. And if people don't resonate with me, that's understandable too. But I'm going to be as open as I can about what this journey entails and how difficult it is to navigate at times, because I want people to know that they're not alone, that I'm in the same boat.
Oh, I would even say we are in the same.
We,
Yeah, we've been experiencing a lot of similar things.
yeah, that's why I'm so glad to have you in my life, because it's a lot when you go through this stuff alone and you have so much love to give and you have no one to give it to or nothing to give it to. And then you finally meet someone who's amazing and you can take all of that love, all that energy, and finally give it to someone.
Mhm.
It feels like you deflate in a good way. Oh my God, I was gonna implode. Thank God.
Yeah, as I take a breath there, when you say deflate, it's like, oh, I can finally breathe a sigh of relief.
Yeah, take the air out of these tires, baby.
Yeah.
Even though that's not gonna get me where I want to go, but yeah.
It's like, how about that metaphor? Does that
Yeah,
work?
that doesn't
Maybe it
really
doesn't.
work. Doesn't really track, but okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, I feel like we have recently talked about feeling like there are two different versions of us.
Yeah, so I'll be honest with you. When I got on my spiritual journey, I didn't think that I'd end up where I am, which makes sense because it's unpredictable. You never know what the universe is going to do with you. But I didn't think that I would end up being such a hermit. And I love my life. Don't get me wrong. I like reading books. I like developing myself. I like getting smarter. I like meditating. I like connecting to myself. But I definitely saw this other version of my life where I would socialize a lot more, where I'd be traveling all the time, meeting up with friends, and just keeping busy.
Mhm.
And I feel like a lot of us have two versions within us. There's the introvert and there's the extrovert.
Mhm.
And for a lot of people who are like me and you right now, they will be more of the introvert, even though there's this other part of them that's living vicariously through other people. It's like, but I want to travel. I want to do these things. But for whatever reason, I'm not in the mood. Like, I don't feel like doing that because it would take so much energy. And I feel like when you connect to yourself and you gain access to so much because you're connecting to the deepest part of you, you start to lose your appetite for socializing and for traveling. You just start to accept, I feel a lot more alive being with myself or being with you
Mhm.
than I would going to a restaurant that's loud and traveling when I already know what that experience is going to be like.
Mhm.
And that's the thing, as we become increasingly sensitive and intuitive, we can sense what the experience is going to be like without needing to do it.
Mhm.
And typically, when it feels flat, when it feels like it would have nothing to offer you, then you have to listen to that because you reach a point within yourself where you understand that if you go against what your body is telling you, you're only going to suffer for it.
Mhm.
So I think a lot of people right now are more in the introverted phase, but they know that eventually the other version of them that is more social, that does want to do great things in this world,
Mhm.
that version of them will eventually come out to play.
Yeah, I like when you said when you think about going out, or for me, when I think about going out, all I can think of is it's going to be loud, noisy, people laughing. They're having a great time, but for me, it's just noise. It's like it's grating.
Yeah.
And so we have said, like, do we want to go for dinner? Nah, we'd rather not. We'd rather just be in our bubble
Yeah.
because we know what we're going to get. It's going to be more grounded, more connected, and to me, much more real, more authentic.
Yeah. It's fuller.
That too.
It feels fuller. And if it was up to me, just being super candid with you, I would prefer to have the energy to go travel and socialize. But over the years, I realized that that's not what the universe had in store for me. And so I've learned to come to terms with it and to trust the process and to know that whatever needs to happen that's in my heart's deepest desires will happen in due time.
Mhm.
And so I just want people to know that if they fight what their body is telling them, it's only going to hurt more. They're only going to keep suffering. So we have to remember that the body is an extreme intelligence. It's an infinite intelligence, and it will tell you when you should move, when you should stay back. It's always telling you what you need to do and not do.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, the reason I wanted to title this video, Are We Even Alive, or Are You Even Alive, is because me and you both feel like when we go out for coffee and we go out to read our books and stuff like that, it does feel like we're not really here anymore. And that's really the point that I wanted to drive today around all of this is you might feel like you really don't belong. You look around and there are people standing right next to you, but for whatever reason, they feel completely out of your reach. It's like you can say hi, you can greet people, but there's still a wall between us.
I think of it like a film,
Mm,
a veil.
yeah,
I can see through it, but I know it's just almost like a dream.
yeah,
Is this really happening? Is this interaction really happening?
exactly. And when it started happening to me, I thought, no, no, I'm still here. It's all good. And I am still here, but I think what's happening is that I'm moving into a different version of my life. It can be a lot at times because we're humans. We crave connection, we crave intimacy. And luckily, I have you.
Mhm.
But when you go out, you might find that you're just, it's almost like your body's not permitting you to interact and mingle with other people. And you might be wondering why. It's because you're going through a transformation and it's an intense transformation. I liken it to being in a cocoon and having that cocoon around you all day long, but you're walking within the cocoon.
Mhm.
So you're in this protective bubble.
Mhm.
And that bubble is enabling you to go through that metamorphosis, to go through that transformation so that you can eventually be spit out as this new version of yourself.
Mhm.
But that can be a very lengthy process. It can take 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. It may never even end. And the reason I say that is because you'll eventually land on a different version of your life where you're not interacting with the people that you used to interact with, where you're really lining up with a completely different set of individuals and opportunities and situations.
Mhm. Yeah, when you said lining up, I feel like it is the universe trying to say we're misaligned and we need to get back into alignment.
Hmm.
And some might say, well, I've never felt anything similar. So, trying to get back, well, in alignment, meaning to your true self.
To your true self. Yeah.
So you might not have ever experienced your true self
Yeah.
before.
That's right. We think we do. We think that we're being authentic when we're loud with our friends, like, hey, girl, how's it going?
Mhm.
We think that that's us because it's invigorating, it's energizing. But our true self is actually very calm. It's not trying anymore. It's not trying to prove anything anymore. It's not trying to mimic what you see on social media, which we've all fallen into that trap.
Mhm.
You see someone talk a certain way, and then you kind of adopt their behavior or their mannerisms. So it's just part of what's happening in the world right now. is we feel this need to mimic what other people are doing, but really we're just borrowing someone else's energy rather than really being authentically ourselves.
Mhm.
And so this protective bubble that you're in right now is the universe shielding you from you getting in trouble again. Meaning, if you step out of your bubble, if you step out of this cocoon, it's highly likely that you're going to revert to your old ways and you're going to start to people please again,
Mm.
that you're not going to be yourself anymore. And so that's going to disrupt the process, the transformation that you're going through. And this is why when we do step out of that bubble, we immediately feel like, why did I do that? And you know that I've struggled with this because I love people and I want to talk to everyone. But what I found is that if I have one conversation while I'm, let's say, reading my book at the coffee shop where we go,
Mhm.
then the next time they will start to interrupt what I'm doing and expect me to talk to them again.
Mm.
And I'm good at setting boundaries, but the fact that I even have to do that as much as I do sucks.
Yeah.
I think it's nice to be able to talk to people, and the next time, you see them reading their book and you recognize they're alone right now. Let me not invade their privacy.
Mhm.
But this is the conundrum, is that you're wanting to connect with people, but you know that they're not at a level where they can respect what it means to transform. They can't quite read the room.
Mhm.
And I don't mean that as a judgment, I promise you. It's just that when you walk this path and you get ahead, because I feel like that's what my job is, and that doesn't make me better, but I'm trained to always get ahead so that I can guide other people
Mhm.
with whatever it is that they're dealing with. So I have to be informed. I have to know exactly what they're going through in depth. So I feel like I know you get to a place where you're so attuned, you're so sensitive that you already know if someone will respect your privacy or not.
Mhm.
So then you go, okay, well, you know what? I think it's better if I just keep to myself because otherwise my bubble is going to get penetrated and then it's going to throw me off again. And now I'm going to anticipate them speaking to me every time. And then I have to set boundaries. So it's a challenge because you know that the final version of you is going to be super social, but you first need to undergo this transformation.
Mhm. I'm thinking of one person in particular who, once we started to engage and, hey, how are you? What's going on? How have you been? It turned into stopping to talk more. But then something happened where they became aware we're reading.
Yes.
And the conversation isn't, there's no substance.
Yeah.
So now it's just noise, chatter, and they have respected that we're reading. So now, if anything, it might be just a, hey,
Yeah.
like a wave, not interrupting us. So I do feel like it takes some people time to get there.
Yes.
But that is a certain level of awareness.
But would you agree that it takes a lot of energy to constantly dodge those bullets or to have to set that boundary?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're anticipating it. So
Yeah.
we're not really enjoying what we're doing.
Yeah.
If we do see that, person or people coming down the street, it's like,
Yeah.
it's going to happen again.
Yeah. And if you think about when someone is going through grieving or they've gone through a breakup, they don't really have the emotional bandwidth to deal with people because then they're going to interrogate them. Hey, how are you doing? How's the breakup going? They don't want to be bombarded with all these questions. And so going through a transformation is very similar. You feel like everything is like a nail on a chalkboard and you just want to be with yourself so that you can go through it seamlessly.
Yeah.
And even though it's never seamless.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you will get people who say the way that you're behaving is different, or you're standoffish or unapproachable or cold.
Yeah.
And it's like, just let me have my experience. Let me go through my process.
Yeah. I definitely grapple with that because I love people so deeply, but I also know what it takes to get to a higher level. Like I know what it takes to work through my crap and respect people's space and respect people's boundaries. And I can usually detect when someone hasn't learned that yet. And that's why I tend to keep to myself a lot. But it hurts me because I want to be there for people. But I also know that if I don't take care of my needs and I don't enjoy my own energy or I don't protect my own energy, I'm only going to hurt myself
Mm.
because I'm going to engage with people who may not respect those boundaries later on.
Right. And then I think you may have referred to it before about, okay, now you do it, and then how do you feel after?
Yeah.
It's like I knew I shouldn't have
Yeah.
because it's an energy suck, or I just don't feel right.
Yeah. So I just want people to know that I struggle a lot too because I would not have personally chosen this. Like I would not have personally chosen this, but this is what's happening in my life and I have committed myself to this path.
Mhm.
Like this is what I'm going to be doing the rest of my life, meaning becoming a better version of myself every day. And there are sacrifices that I have to make. And part of those sacrifices is accepting that some people do think that I might be unapproachable or I might be unfriendly or I might be cold, but that's not the case. I'm actually moving into more love, but it's a different kind of love. It's a love full of integrity and honesty and respect and consideration. Whereas I feel like a lot of people in this world now are still in the dysfunctional love, where it's like, you should pick up the phone every time I call you, or I should be able to approach you since I was able to approach you last time.
Mhm.
So people are still blurring the lines, not understanding what they'll eventually have to do, which is to overcome those dysfunctions or those limitations that they themselves hold.
Mhm. And I do believe that we're more grounded, more pulled back, more reserved to build energy, to figure things out so that when we do get to stepping out, doing more things, being more social, it is coming from a more grounded place,
Yeah.
more aligned place.
If people were super real all the time, because I'm always real with people, it's just easy. I don't hide anything. I wear my heart on my sleeve. But if people were more honest, then I would have no problem with it. The issue is that when you're becoming a higher version of yourself, you start to see life very differently. It's like because you're so honest, you might bump into an acquaintance or into a friend and the whole time they're talking to you, you just know it's not true. You just know that it's coming from a place of insecurity. So they're sharing one thing, but you can actually feel their pain underneath. And you get to a point where you're like, I don't want to give them unsolicited advice. It's up to them to open up to me and connect with me in a very honest way. But unfortunately, when you start to get more authentic, a lot of people will pull at your energy. They'll pull at your, it's almost like they're fishing for information
Mhm.
rather than asking for it. Like, hey, how are you really doing? Hey, I'm having a hard day, or I'm struggling with my career right now.
Mhm.
And they don't really divulge what's going on with them. And so I can smell it and I'm not interested in interacting with
Mhm.
that. I'm not. And I've accepted that. I've tried every approach, trust me. I've tried being super open with people and speaking to everyone and keeping more to myself. And this is what I've deduced from the whole thing is that the universe is pushing me in a direction that I may not be super agreeable to, but I know it's what's right for me. And if this is the role that I have to play, even though I hate roles, then I have to come to terms with it.
Well, it's interesting that you mention roles and the way people are. And I'm thinking now about family or friends. What are your thoughts about feeling like we have to engage with family simply because they are family?
What I found going through this transformation is that my body is really starting to reject anything that isn't in alignment with me, which is another way to say anything that makes me work too hard. I just don't have the energy for it. I need that energy to continue to promote this transformation within me. And I completely understand if people think that that's selfish, but I always tell people if you were to remove the name, the title, the face, how long you've known them, whoever it might be, family, friends, if you were to remove all of that, how does it feel in your body? Because we've all been deeply programmed to be versions of ourselves that we're not. And the programming usually overshadows our truth. The false self, the self that feels like it's obligated to do things, usually trumps the more authentic self. And so always bring it back to how your body is informing you. What is it saying to you? If there was no right way or wrong way, and there wasn't a God up in heaven that would punish you, okay? And this was strictly about what feels right for you and your own evolution, your own growth, what would you do? If no one was judging you, what would you do? So I find that the body is now allergic almost to things that are not in integrity, to things that are not honest and transparent. And so for me, I've gotten to a place, and it's been really hard, where I can't be in relationship with people unless they're stepping into more love. Now, from their lens, they're going to see it as, but you're not loving. You have all these rules. They're not rules that I'm choosing. They're rules that I'm following for myself. Am I happy about it? Yes and no. Again, I've had to make a lot of sacrifices, but I know it's what's right, is to have more integrity, to live more honestly. So, yeah, I think people have to start accepting what isn't driving with them anymore and stop making that wrong. We're so good at gaslighting ourselves because we've been so gaslit.
Mhm.
But if we can just remove all that and get honest about what we want, then we have our answer. We always have. It's just that we're afraid of our truth. We're afraid of our power.
I've shared this with you before about my family,
Mm.
the few family members that I do communicate with and feel a connection with them. It actually feels more like I'm adopted. Like I don't know really how that feels, but if I knew, it would be this, where I feel like I'm outside of the family.
Mm.
And it's not by me choosing not to have a relationship with them. I'm talking about the ones that I am having a relationship with, where I just feel very different.
Hmm.
I have taken a step back to see like the bigger picture, and it's less entangled.
Yeah. To me, what it feels like, how I experience it, is people around me still need me in their story, and I don't need them in mine. Like, and I don't mean that harshly. I just feel like I'm good and I know where I'm headed in my life. But for whatever reason, they still need me to be a character in their story. But I'm a character outside of their story. And they have a hard time with that because outside of that story, I can't be controlled. And so they're trying to thrust me back in the story
Mm.
so that I can control it. But for you, I think it's just that you've evolved so much and it's not about biology anymore. It's not about who you know. It's about you just following what's true for you. And it really doesn't take energy. That's the thing. We spend so much energy trying to accept truths that are not our own.
Mm. Yeah.
We drain ourselves trying to accept, oh, yeah, I'll just, fine, this will work for now. Yeah, I'll just call people I don't really want to call. That's where most of the energy drainage happens. But if you got really honest and dropped all the stories and all the roles, if you dropped all your ideas, it takes no energy to be you. It takes none. And I think most people in this world are still holding on to who they're not And who they're not is connected to friendships and relationships that are also not for them. But because they're still holding on to who they're not, that links them to all these people, to this network of people that's actually not in alignment for them. And they insist on keeping those relationships alive. And if they were to just accept themselves, all those friendships would fall away. Family members, all these things would fall away.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you've just described my entire life. Really.
Yeah.
Like wow. I'll be 49 next week.
Mm.
And it's like I've just discovered who I am, truly.
Yeah.
And I was trying to make it about the people in my life. Can you help me figure out who I am?
Mm-hmm.
And it was when I actually got quiet that I realized who I am and what I really want.
Yeah. That's beautiful. Yeah. It's not easy because it's not just me or it's not just you. It's all these characters that were in your game prior and they're holding on and they're still not being authentic. They still don't know who they are. They're still people pleasing. And circling back to what we talked about earlier, it's like that's why I don't really let a lot of people into my bubble because I can sense it when someone hasn't gone there yet and they haven't delved into the depths of themselves. So I already know what's coming and I have to do the loving thing, which is actually loving to them too. They just don't know it, which is to honor the journey that we're all going to have to be on at some point or another. It's going to happen for all of us.
I do feel like it is also, what is the word? Contagious.
Mm-hmm.
Where if you are more authentic and being true to you, that tends to rub off on other people.
Yeah.
And I'm noticing that in some of my relationships.
Well, they're also receptive, whereas some people are not receptive. So it still rubs off on them, but it's like a stink. It's like a stink. They're like, I don't like this person. They've changed too much. What's going on with them?
Right.
But eventually, because that's just their ego talking, they're resisting the fact that you're changing. And if they accepted that you're changing, they will change too.
Right.
Positively. But because they're fighting changing, then they're turning you into the villain. And that's very convenient.
Right.
Then I don't have to do anything.
I don't have to change.
I don't have the issue. But here's the thing. I want people to know I understand their perspective. It's not like I'm oblivious to their perspective. I understand it, but it's still a limited perspective. The truest perspective, if you want to know, is I may not agree with you, but I'm here for you if you need anything. And those are the people who are going to come with you. They're ride or die. They've got you. You've got them. But I think we're living in a world where people are still disingenuous and they're still so afraid of their power. Like you were afraid of your power for the longest time. That's why you had to ask them for advice. You have to ask them, nothing wrong with advice, but you had to find yourself through them. But you've come to discover that that never works. You can only find yourself through you. And the true way to find ourselves is recognizing what doesn't feel aligned because you already are you. So really it's about what doesn't sit well with you, what rubs you the wrong way, what gets under your skin. And some people might say, "What doesn't that mean I have to heal?" Yeah, it depends. You have to heal if the person genuinely didn't do anything wrong and you're just having a reaction. But some people like to instigate. Some people don't take accountability. Some people will gaslight you. And so that's when you have to go, okay, I see this and I'm going to withdraw myself from the situation because it's taking a toll on my mental health. It's taking a toll on my well-being. And I don't want to do that anymore. I find that the universe places a lot of what you don't like in your life so that you can go, I don't want that. That is power. That's why sometimes you feel so empowered when you're like, I'm done with that friend. They were never true, because you start to feel yourself again. Whereas that friendship was obscuring you, it was obscuring your connection.
Yeah. And then we find ourselves, it's going back to people who say, why does this keep happening?
Hmm.
It is so that you can find your power.
Yeah. But the reason people don't find their power is because they think there's something wrong with what their body is telling them. How can you ever become more intuitive? People ask me all the time, how are you in my head? It happens to me every day on my Instagram, my social media. It's because even though I don't want to follow my truth, I know that I have to, because it's not really mine. It's the universe's plan for me. It's my destiny. And I don't know where it's leading me, but I know that I feel more peaceful when I follow it. And I know that I feel like complete shit when I don't.
Hmm.
Like I hurt myself.
Yeah. I don't love when you aren't yourself, but what I love is you say, I can't go on my meditative walk until I come clean, set the record straight, apologize, whatever it might be.
Hmm.
I love, I love how authentic you are.
Yeah. I think it's because I know I don't have a choice, that I'm always held accountable by the universe. So if I'm willing to go on that journey of accountability and development and growing, then I also have to, I can't make exceptions for people because that's what I'm following. So you can't expect me to be two versions of me. I can't betray what I'm doing in my life. And I think that's what people have contended with. It's like they want me to love on them, even though they're not hearing me, they're not seeing me, they're not acknowledging my feelings, which goes against what I would need to do in that scenario. And so, kind of like water and oil, we're starting to really identify when something isn't in alignment right now. It could change later on, but I think people have to realize that of their own accord. It has to happen on their own time. We can't do that for them. So I think if people are in a cocoon right now, in a bubble, try to accept it, because it'll only get harder if you don't.
Mm.
And again, if you blend your energy with other people while in the midst of that transformation, you're going to create a setback for yourself,
Mhm.
because you're more prone to becoming a people pleaser again. You're more prone to being like up here when you're having a conversation with a friend, like you're not you. The true you is just like, I'm here.
Yeah.
What's up? What's going on?
I find it interesting where we're a certain way with our partner or our very close friends, and then we get in, situations with other people, and it's like, who are you?
Yeah.
Where did you go?
Yeah, like you've dimmed your light.
Yeah,
You're shrinking yourself for other people to like you again.
right.
And then, yeah, that delays your process. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, think of it like as a three-phase process. So phase one is you start to see that you're not being authentic in your life. People drain you. You're always overcompensating. You're always trying to prove yourself. It's exhausting. So the first step is recognizing that. The second step is, okay, what do I need to do to become authentic? I need to keep to myself for a while to get everyone's energy off of me so that I can really start getting acquainted with myself. And that's the long process. That can take years.
Mm.
And that's when you're in that cocoon. And then the third phase, hopefully, fingers crossed, even for myself, is that you come out of the cocoon and now you can start to socialize and be more of that extrovert, but as your truest self. Like you're not playing games with people, you're just here.
Mhm.
You're just being.
Mhm.
It's like that saying, you're not a human doing, you're a human being.
Mm.
You're just being.
Yeah, I love that.
So that's the idea. So I want people to know that you won't be able to take that old energy with you where you go. So let's say that the old energy is people who don't hold themselves accountable, people who don't respect your privacy, who constantly violate your boundaries, who still have a lot to learn as far as being self-aware goes. And the new energy being you continuing to do what you've been doing.
Mhm.
You can't take those people, that energy with you. You just can't. They don't go together.
Mhm.
But unfortunately, we live in a world that tells us, no, no, love is love. I don't believe that. And if that's someone's journey, fine. If you want toxic people in your life and you want to love on them and they're not learning anything and they never see you, have at it. Like, do that if you need to. But just know that you're not getting anything in return. You're not getting that reciprocity. You're not getting that support. You're not getting anything.
Mhm. We've talked about that, about things that decisions that you might want to
Yeah.
make, or reconnecting with people. And it's one thing to say, I want to give love and I just want to be love and I
Hmm.
want to love them. And I've asked you, what are you getting in return?
Yeah.
If you're getting that all back, that's fantastic.
Hmm.
But if you have changed and that's how you are showing up, or even more of you, so I know you haven't changed, that's always been you,
Hmm.
but you are showing up with even more love and
Hmm.
understanding and compassion. If they have not changed and they're not giving that back to you, then what is it all for?
Yeah. Are you helping toxic people by staying in their life, or are you crippling them?
Yeah, you're crippling
You're
them.
crippling them. You're enabling, you're condoning their behavior. You're saying this is okay, even though I'm trying to go over there.
Mhm.
So it's only going to decelerate your journey.
Mhm.
It's a lot. We're navigating a lot right now. I want people to know that it's going to get better. And the reason why you feel like you're not alive is because you're no longer alive in the old version of your life and everything that comes with it. The people pleasing, all of that, everything we talked about today, you're no longer alive there. You're not there anymore.
Mhm.
So stop looking back. Keep going.
Mhm.
There's another world, there's another version of your life that awaits you. And if you are dedicated, if you are perseverant, you will get there. Right now, you can feel it. Like, I feel something when I read my books. I feel something when I go on my meditative walks. I feel it's like I'm walking in this jello that's like alive. It's like I feel everything. It's magic. I feel it,
Yeah.
but I don't see it yet. And that's okay, because maybe we use a different sense when we get there. Who knows? All I'm saying, okay,
Mhm.
is honor your journey and stop making yourself feel bad for no longer resonating with people anymore. It's not that you're not resonating with them, is that you're not resonating with the energy around them. That energy would betray your truth. That energy would deceive your truth.
Mhm.
That energy really isn't your friend, in the sense that it has to want to learn, it has to want to grow, it has to want to understand. And until then, it's just veiled. It doesn't see you. That's why you don't get the acknowledgement you want. It doesn't, it can't see you. It only sees itself and what it can get from you. That's all.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people are not straightforward, is because they think they can get away with it. They're still hiding. They don't know they're hiding. It's just that they haven't tipped over into more of an aware state. So it's going to get better. Hang in there and just celebrate the fact that you're different. Celebrate the fact that you're unique, that you're special,
Yeah.
and don't doubt yourself.
And stop looking in the rear view mirror. That's not the direction you're going.
That's right, because you got wings, baby. You don't need a rear view mirror when you got wings. So you got this. We got this.
We do.